Solomon. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. You think about it, we rant about it. Listen to us live on Facebook.
Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hope you're all doing well. It is unbelievable to believe that we're already near the end of August. I mean, I can't believe this. Summer is rolling right by. Thank God we have a few more weeks, but those kids are back at school. I hope we're almost on their way back to school. So if that is the case, take advantage of the summer as much as you can. Hi, everybody. David Solomon here with you. I am flying solo today. Unfortunately, Stuart is unable to join us today. He will be back on Wednesday. And I know I promised we would talk about the labor shortage, but I really wanted Stuart to be part of this in terms of, keeping it the U.S.-Canadian side. And so we're going to wait on him to be back, and hopefully he'll be back on Wednesday, as I said. Now, what is really irking me was what happened over the course of the weekend. And I have been screaming here with Stuart for months and months and months. If you join the Rant Network, we try to talk about the things that others won't want to talk about. And one of the things we talk about is the imbalance in media reporting. And one of the things happened again this weekend. It's crazy, though. And what am I talking about? Were you watching Saturday night CNN? If you did, then you probably caught what was supposed to be the concert, the We Love New York City homecoming concert. This was meant to be a kumbaya in New York City where everybody's getting together. It's a big love fest because New York City is now open to the world, right? Well, not quite. But here's the thing that just irked me. The Delta variant is going up and up and up and up. Numbers and cases are going up and up and up. I don't care where you are in the United States, Canada, around the world. And CNN had absolutely no problem not only showcasing this concert, but promoting it. And not a single word about the fact that and if you look on my screen, where people are not wearing masks, it's a big love fest. Not a single comment about how this could be a super spreader event. In fact, if you looked at it, even the New York Times, the only thing they could comment about is that the concert had to be canceled because of Hurricane Henry. Or Henri, excuse me. I'm sitting here and I'm going, wait a minute, I don't understand. This Delta variant is going through like crazy all over the U.S., and yet there's not a word. There's not a mention. There's not a comment. There's not a feeling about the fact that this event could be catastrophic. Dr. Fauci and his other cronies, not to mention other media, had absolutely no issue picking on the biker event in South Dakota. In fact, they call this, now this was a 10-day event, so to speak, but yeah, a biker event as a super spread event because this is a red state. This has nothing to do with the fact that, if this was in Florida or Texas, it would be equally as lamb-based. But because in South Dakota, it's going to get crushed. But not a single word from the government, not a single word out of the New York governor's office, although there's no governor, there's an assistant governor, or, there's lieutenant governor, and not a word about the dangers about this event. Now, here was the comment about the event in South Dakota. You're bringing in bikers from all over the United States. You're creating chaos by bringing in sick people into potentially getting together, which will then create a spreader event. By contrast, of course, the New York one, oh, no. There was no issue whatsoever about that. Folks, there's a problem with that statement, because at the end of the day, to believe that it happened in a blue state, in a Democratic run state, in New York, and now it's okay, is a flawed statement. Okay, let's get real here. I'm not picking on CNN, MSNBC, and the rest of those liberal media as the bad and Fox News is the good, but both sides have absolutely misinformed us consistently so that they can promote their ratings, so that they could push, so that they could create these hysterical events to get you and me to watch and to continue to, to pay for their advertising and what have you. It's absolutely insane. but it makes no sense. The information, the misinformation coming through is absolutely idiotic. Now, to sit here and to put it into perspective, I mean, one of the comments I heard was, New York is fine. David, New York is fine. So let me give you an idea. In Canada right now today, 80% of Canadians have at least one dose, whereas 72%, and again, this is all over the age of 12. Don't take it as total population because under 12 doesn't count because we can't vaccinate under 12s, although there's a whole argument going that way, and we're not here to talk about that today. But in Canada, over 72% of Canadians are doubly vaxxed. We are the most vigilant country, apparently, in the world. We've surpassed the United States in terms of vaccination rates. We've become one of the leaders in the world in this double vaxxed movement. And yet, we're afraid to open up our arenas, our theaters, our to everything to a complete mass event like this. Although the Quebec government did talk about having one large concert, but it's incredible how in the United States, where on one hand, they're saying, be careful of these super spreader events. You must wear masks. You got to get double vaccinated. It seems to be that that's not the case anymore. All that matters is that red states are bad, blue states are good. And if you're in a blue state, you don't have to talk about double vaccination. And if you're a red state, you're all a bunch of, crazy lunatics who don't want to get a second vaccine. New York State, folks, I just want to put it out there because everybody talks about New York being so good. 69% of the population is doubly vaxxed. 57%, you look at 75% of a single dose. I don't understand why if you got one, you didn't get two, but like whatever. But to tell me that New York State, and this is the whole state, this isn't city, this is the state where people were going to flock into, to the concert, you still have a high percentage of people who are not vaccinated. Now, it's interesting because even double vaxxers have about a 1 in 7 chance, and this is what the numbers are showing, of still getting the Delta variant. If you don't have the double vax, you have a very high rate of chance of getting it, let alone the 8-month period. And I'm not even going to get into that. But this information, no, we won't be reporting that because this is a blue state. Because people in New York, they can't get COVID. According to CNN, it won't matter. Well, let's talk about another state like Connecticut. Same situation. 72% one dose, 65% have a second dose. New Jersey, 68% have one, 60% have two. So the question is why did CNN think that this concert, if in theory only people came in from Connecticut and New Jersey, which is highly unlikely, probably even further away to go see this concert, but why did CNN believe that this event was okay to endorse? I'll remind you that they didn't say anything about Obama's, big 60th birthday party passion, Martha's Vineyard, that had countless people unmasked, or any concert or any event that happens in a blue state. They are misinforming you by trying to tell you that it's only in Florida and it's only in Texas that's the problem. Any Republican, run state is where the problems are at. All the blue states are perfectly fine. Now, Fox doesn't do much better, frankly. I mean, we're talking about the other side, but this is the misinformation that continues to perpetuate itself through the media. I mean, what do we believe in anymore today, folks? I mean, I'd love for you to throw it into your comments here on our channel here. Like, listen, think about every single thing that the government has told you to do. And in reality, they're not dealing with science. They're dealing with political science. They're dealing with getting voters again. They're thinking about the midterm in 2022. They're not thinking about today. We see this. We have a Canadian election happening right now, folks. That's right. It's a Canadian election. They're campaigning right now across this country, just like they did a year ago in the United States. They're doing this in Canada. And people are like, how could you have a national election in the middle of a pandemic? Now, unlike the United States, we don't have to call it every 4 years. There's no set date. But this government, the Prime Minister of Canada, believes that this was the right thing to do. And finally, the media is lambasting him for making a decision in the middle of a pandemic. How on one side, you say one thing and on the other side, you don't. But then in the same publication, in the same publications, in the same media, you hear, wow, isn't this great? Look how he's handling COVID. And on the other side, look how terribly he's handling COVID. What are we to believe anymore? There's no factual reporting anymore. It's all agenda-based. It continues to perpetuate lies and misinformation to try to help whomever. Look, at the politicians aren't straight. The media is not straight. I don't know who to believe anymore. When the CDC says one thing and they don't report it properly, I mean, what are we to believe anymore? I don't even know how to get information. Now, I know when I talk about this, I know that there are doctors who listen. I don't even know where the doctors get their information, but I'd love for them to help us to figure out what to do. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have a friend here in Montreal who is a specialist in this area, and he's been a little bit aggressive in terms of what people should be doing and how the media misrepresents what really we should be doing. Yes, he's a pro-masker. Yes, he's been a vaccine pusher. Yes, he's been all that stuff. And you could say you don't believe in it, and everybody, live and let live and die. But that's what he says. You want fine. But I'm telling you, the way for us to get back to any normality is this way. But the media isn't consistent with the reporting on it, because instead of denouncing these super spreader events, instead of denouncing the fact that these concerts shouldn't be held and that these big events get together shouldn't happen, how are we to trust the media anymore? We can't trust them. It continues to be a pack of lies. They talked about the fact that we need, as long as we get to the 75%, we've got this herd immunity. Have you heard the term herd immunity lately? No, because the media doesn't want to push it because it can't. It looks foolish. Have you heard, they talk about double vaccinations. Are they pushing President Biden, or are they pushing Prime Minister Trudeau to create a national campaign towards, double vaccinations or masking? No. Both times the media gives the government a pass because it suits their agenda. We see it in the States, we see it in Canada, we see it over in other countries. As long as the government is more conservative and believes in a more, call it let and let live situation or whatever, at the end of the day, what's sickening is that they're telling you what they think you should hear so they can manipulate you. Now, yes, Shira, they said, were they required to be vaccinated to enter this outdoor event? It doesn't matter whether they were, who's checking. And believe you me, if Shira, you live in a province where they're trying to now, put forward a vaccination application, you can get it, you could cheat. There's no legitimacy. There was a guy who posted up, go online, look for, you could buy someone's vaccine passport. And even if they were doubly vaxxed, as I said, there's a 1 in 7 chance you're still getting COVID. You are not fully protected, let alone the fact that now in the United States, people are now 7, 8, and 9 months after their second vaccine, and they saw the numbers drop. In Israel, they just announced that they need a booster because people who have been 7 and 8 months past their second vaccine, it's not as potent anymore. The protection drops. Yes, the media doesn't want to report this because this would look horrible. And even if they were, they weren't wearing masks and they were on top of the other. They're one on top of the other, for God's sakes. Have you been to an outdoor concert? I remember the last time I went to an outdoor concert, we were like plastered one on top of the other. That was the beauty of a concert. You don't think that that's what's happening here? So even if you're doubly vaccinated, you're still not out of the woods. You still have to protect yourself. This is what the CDC has been screaming about. And yet the media didn't say anything negative. The opposite. You have the fools at CNN who were so excited of the concert, and they were interviewing Barry Manilow and other performers to show how wonderful this is. But not once did they pan in the crowd said, hey, we need to put masks on these people. They need to be 6 feet apart or more. Not once. Throughout the entire broadcast did they do so. And when the other media called them out, once again, CNN did what they're very good at doing, just ignoring you. They would rather blame Trump, Ron DeSantis, and everybody else for COVID, but not in the blue states. They are not willing to call out any single Democrat at all when it comes up to COVID. And even Dr. Fauci, by the way, where is he to call out and denounce this concert? As usual, hiding because it doesn't serve his political purposes. Ladies and gentlemen, I reached my quarter hour, and I love this fact that we had a great crowd today. I want to thank you all very much for joining me today. Looking forward to seeing your comments on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere where you're at. And really, folks, we want to hear from you. Tell us the kind of topics that you want us to talk about. What are we really, really mad about? What do we want to just rant and vent about? We're looking forward to seeing you guys on Wednesday when Stuart will be back in Florida. Love you guys. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful week. Stay well